Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Coffee Talk with Mac. I'm Mac. And so today's segment, I just wanted to follow up on some things. And this is like a follow up of a couple of previous posts. And we recently heard Joe Biden with what's happening in Afghanistan. Last week, he said, I take full responsibility. The buck stops here. That's how we started a press conference. But then he started to deflect that responsibility by blaming others and coming up with a multitude of excuses. So that's not really taking full responsibility. Okay, that's just lip service. So today's segment is going to be about taking personal responsibility. Okay, so and today and it's Coffee Talk with Max. So today's segment is brought to you by Vermont organic coffee from the Vermont Coffee Company. I like Vermont. This is a medium roast right here, and it's made with all organic and products, and you know, and they use renewable energy to roast their products, and they use small organic farmers. That's where they buy their beans. So it's an excellent coffee, and I like it. It's a medium roast. So I'm going to put the link for Vermont in the description. And coffee is good for you, and there are studies to prove it. And I'm going to put the link for those in my description also. The link for my health and fitness website called www.silverfoxfitclub.com, which is science-based and a lot of tips and ideas and studies for health and fitness for men over 40. And there's a couple of studies there about coffee and the health benefits of coffee. So hopefully that can help you out. But always drink in moderation, okay? And try not to drink coffee after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So today's discussion is about taking responsibility. And throughout history, there's been many historical figures who said the buck stops here, I take full responsibility. The most notable one is, Harry S. Truman. He was famous. He had that up on his desk. I'm going to show it to you in a moment. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this subject is because it was just highlighted by Biden. Okay, President Biden stated last week in a press conference, I take full responsibility. The buck stops here. But he didn't follow through on that responsibility. He started deflecting, and he started blaming, and he started making excuses. Okay, that's not taking full responsibility. That's sort of something what Cuomo did, Governor Cuomo did 2 weeks ago when he, his resignation speech, where he offered a lot of encouragement and credit to the women who came forward. He said they were courageous, but he called what happened to him was like a witch hunt, and people were out to get him, and he's going to be vindicated because it's all not true. It doesn't jive in one statement like that. Either they're right or they're wrong. Okay, not both ways. And so the same with Biden. Either you take full responsibility, the buck stops at your desk, you made the call, or you don't talk about it. Let the chips fall where they may. So I'm going to share with you a little PowerPoint I have about taking full responsibility. The buck stops here, okay? We all know about that. And that's what Biden said, the buck stops here. So the buck also stops here, Washington, D.C. That's ultimately, and that's what the presidency is. We need to hold all our politicians accountable for their actions and the decisions they make, all of them. That's the thing that was on President, Harry S. Truman's desk. He was famous for that. The buck stops here. That's in a museum now. What appears to be happening, folks, because we're overloaded with information that's not true, or misleading information, or fabricated information, or information that's misrepresented. During this pandemic, we have an infodemic. So we need now to take responsibility, personal responsibility, and not spread misinformation. So we all need to do that. Okay, let's try to figure out where we're getting our news from and try to verify it before we share it. One of the root causes of this is what we're in. It's a social dilemma. There's a great movie on Netflix, The Social Dilemma. It talks about the rabbit hole that we all go down, and social media platforms created this whole situation where you're just funneled down this rabbit hole where all you get is an echo chamber of people with your like beliefs, and you just get fed bias confirmation bias of stuff you want to hear instead of stuff maybe you need to hear. So there's no objective thinking at all. You think you're listening to a new credible news source, but it's not. It's made up information. Be careful of the information that you get. One of the ways to do that, you surround yourself with those who are on the same mission as you. If you want to seek the truth, surround yourselves with people who also want to seek the truth. If you want to have a discussion like civilized people, surround yourself with people who have those discussions. Okay, don't put yourself out there in a group that you're really not happy with. You must take personal responsibility. You cannot change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself. Now, what does this mean? It means things will be happening to you, in front of you, and near you that you have no control over. You can't control the events that happen in front of you. What you can control is your reaction to them. That's personal responsibility. Control how you react to certain events in front of you. Take charge of yourself. Take ownership of your life. That's a bottom line. These are all well-known motivational speakers and helpers. Okay? Take ownership of your life. That's part of taking responsibility. Meditate. Be mindful. Stay in the moment. Don't get dragged into certain situations. Okay? So what's taking responsibility? Okay, you're going to take responsibility for your behavior, right? How you're acting. You're going to take responsibility for your actions, how you react to things. You're going to take responsibility for your relationships. Because it takes two people for a relationship. There's never ever one person at fault in a bad relationship, because some people may be doing something, but then you react in a certain way, or you're neglectful in a certain way. You're not telling people what you want or what you need. You got to take responsibility for your health. You're in charge of your health. You want to go through this pandemic and survive? Be responsible for your health. Okay? Take charge. Doctor's not in charge of your health. Okay? That marketing on Madison Avenue is not in charge of your health. You're in charge of the health. You know what's best for your body. You know what's best for you to eat. Eat whole foods, exercise, okay? Try to get off pharmaceuticals as much as possible because they destroy you. Pharmaceuticals treat the symptoms, they're not the cure, okay? So, and I know it's a marketing, it's a trillion-dollar business, and it's big business and it's big marketing, but educate yourself on how to treat your body. Educate yourself how to read your body, how to understand your body, how to see what's going on, how to interpret different feelings that you get. Educate yourself. Take control of your health. And you have to take control of you have to own the outcomes. Okay, so you're going to have to own the outcomes. So whatever you did wrong, if you erred, you got to take control of it. You own the outcome. Okay, so own up to it, talk about it, figure out what you did wrong, figure out how you're going to correct it, and move on. But it doesn't get better. You got to take control. And you also take control of your own happiness. Okay. Nobody could provide happiness to you. Nobody's in charge of your happiness but yourself. Okay. You can't say to somebody, you make me unhappy. No, that feeling is yours. That's your feeling. So you're not, nobody else is in charge of your happy feeling or your happiness. Only you. Okay. And that goes back to how you react to things. Okay. So don't think somebody else is in charge of your happiness. Nobody else can make you happy but yourself. And how do you do this? Okay. Constant evaluations of yourself. You should always be evaluating yourself in different situations, different scenarios. Okay. Don't be impulsive. Don't have an impulse reaction to things. Take a few seconds before you react. Think before you react. Okay. So you have to constantly evaluate yourself. Stop blaming others, right? You don't want to blame other people. What happens to you is your control. Okay. So the way you control it is by stop blaming others and you take control. No more self-pity. Okay. Don't feel sorry for yourself. You don't move on that way. You don't move forward. When you're blaming others, when you're feeling sorry for yourself, you're living in the past. And neuroscientists have said we have 50 to 70,000 thoughts a day. And most of those thoughts are things that happen to us. So if you're living in the past, then you're reliving the past. You're redoing the past. You're going to manifest certain things because of those past thoughts that you have, things that happened in the past. Forget about the past. Be in the present. Okay. Don't allow yourself to be manipulated. This is a big thing. A lot of people are afraid to say how they feel, so they allow themselves to be manipulated by others. Don't allow that to happen. Always consider the consequences of your choices. Listen, we live in a free society. It's a constitutional republic, guarantees individual rights and freedoms. But with those individual rights and freedoms comes choices. Those choices have consequences. Okay, so you got to understand that. And you got to own those consequences. Just because you're free, just because you're an individual and you have individual rights, doesn't mean you can do anything you want. It doesn't mean that. So there's consequences to decisions that you make. Own them, correct them, evaluate them, and then move on. You got to be more conscious. Okay, you got to be more in the present. Be aware. Learn how to say yes to things. Learn how to say no. But the bottom line is be in the present, more mindfulness. Okay, so a lot of this stuff is it's not rocket science. And it's not new age stuff. This is foundation of a lot of this stuff is foundation of therapy work. And a lot of the licensed therapists out there will tell you a lot of this stuff is in there. Okay. You gotta be mindful of your actions, be mindful of your present time, your present situation, be reflective, be considerate. So I just wanted to talk about different things about taking personal responsibility because I see a lot of people out there not taking personal responsibility. And it starts with the person on top, where the buck stops. So President Biden was not taking, even though he said he wasn't taking personal responsibility for his actions. Okay, but it's not just him, it's a lot of people. We have to hold our politicians accountable. This way they take personal responsibility for their actions and their decisions. All the politicians. You take personal responsibility for the decisions you make about your health. Make sure they're wise decisions. Make sure they're science-based decisions, okay? Take personal responsibility for your actions in public, all right? But don't be a loose cannon. So take personal responsibility for the misinformation that you may be spreading or that you share that you know is probably wrong. If it sounds wrong, it's probably wrong. Research it before you share it. There's a lot of misinformation all over social media. Okay, so just research it first before you share it. So again, folks, this was my little segment about taking personal responsibility. I hope it was helpful. Please leave comments. I'll comment back with you. We'll have a discussion. If you have another idea about what you would like me to discuss, we can leave that comment also. Don't forget to like this video, and please don't forget to subscribe. Okay, the little fighting Irish guy in the lower right-hand corner. Click on that and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would appreciate the support. So again, leave a comment and tell me how you feel about this. To me, it's basic stuff, and I like to discuss this more. Okay, and I brought it up because of certain events that have been happening in the last week or two all over social media. Okay, so we need to be more responsible, and it begins with ourselves. Take more personal responsibility, and if we do that, then you'll see we will get through this pandemic, and we will get through all these political situations that are happening, because personal responsibility will spread. Okay, if you got to act it to show it, it will spread, and hopefully that would be something that's good to spread. Okay, so people learn from examples. Let's be the example for others. So take care, folks, and thanks for joining me.